I'll be pretty surprised.
Yeah, and this is going to be interesting. I mean, Cruz has been hinting a lot about how he's going to be playing a lot more Genji, and it looks like he has that locked in going in right now, so hopefully that's going to be a huge benefit for their team. I mean, they're running a very interesting dive composition. We saw this kind of backfire a little bit before, but it should be a relatively strong composition, especially since the number of aimers that they do have. Dids is hovering over the Sombra right now, so we don't know if that's going to be an actual option, but we're going to stick on with Cruz right now for the meantime, as you know, everyone wants to see a little bit of how well he does. Maybe that Caxall will be there and will be available.
As we exit the gate here, Dids is going to be on the Sombra, not Morte, so offense actually switching it up a little bit as well, and already hacking that full heal. That's a good way to try and get up to 100% by the time you get in your second fight. Vayutaja being a kind of gatekeeper over here on the left side will actually slow them from taking the stairs either, so I really like the kind of guard dog tracer that they've got going here. Vayutaja already trying to ward Dids away from that full heal, but can't do it. Offense still have not made any ground though.
Yeah, and this is actually a very interesting push, considering I think they should have seen the composition and been ready for it by now. So they are pushing it very safely. They're not really going into the backline as often as they should be. And right now, Volataja just being such a nuisance in the backline. He's making sure that they can't get even onto the site. And this is interesting. I don't know if this is just out of like respect for this TBA squad, but they're not even pushing in. And yes, finally now the push has started to come, but the side of ex-REUNITED, the TBA squad, has been, you know, really strong. The EMP does go off, meaning you're not going to have that recall. Volataja is dropping super low right now. Doesn't have enough options to really do anything right now. Luckily, the EMP is able to capitalize on. They're already looking on Morte Shark, and now the side of Hell Goldenrod able to use this EMP to its benefit. So yeah, that wait that I was kind of saying like maybe wasn't great for them. They actually were just waiting for the ultimate charge to generate in order to make sure they can't use their abilities. However, the side of TBA is still alive, and they're still able to stall it out. Volataja able to drop down Drodo, as you know, Shark is able to go into the background and do enough damage from his end as well. And Cruz still building up the ultimate right now, only at 69%, but the side of Pale Goldenrod able to take this fight. They're able to sustain this fight a lot better. That pulse bomb actually misses, meaning that it's going to be a lot more damage they need to deal with, and this is just fight just going so sustained for the side of Pale Goldenrod. They're more than able to match up. They're not afraid of this DPS.
I can't believe that the Reunited squad has basically pushed this timer a full minute and a half longer than it needed to be. So they bled so much time there that it was still worth actually contesting for as long as they did. Even though they do have 2 long spawns now, it really won't matter that much, as the limo just takes some time to get through those double doors. So good job to make a lost fight, you know, not as amazing for the offense as it could have been. There are a lot of ultimates available though. Dids does already have another EMP to lead off this next fight, but Nano Visor could come into play here if Rubicon and Unfix link up for it. Here come all the ultimates at once. Graviton Surge from the side of the offense catches 3 of the ex-REUNITED squad. They're going to get splattered in there, and Soldiers getting hooked and killed at the end should mean the offense reach the next corner safely, if not the entire next checkpoint. It depends how the defense try to react to this, whether they stake their jump or not. Looks like they will just head back to spawn for now.
Yeah, and this is many props to Pale Goldenrod for not being scared to use this Sombra to their advantage. This Sombra has actually been very dynamic, with the EMP also being able to shut down so many of the recall abilities. You saw Volataja get trapped outside, not able to recall back to his former spot at all. But Cruz in the background now has his dragon, but should be able to do much, but gets immediately hit by an Earth Shatter, meaning he's not going to be able to convert at all. Does get 1 kill on Sebastian, so that is going to be relatively worth it for them as well. But right now, looks like the side of Pale Goldenrod able to sustain as much as they can. Volataja goes down yet again. Not much DPS to finish out the rest of this. So despite the fact it's kind of going honestly relatively even right now, the Pale Goldenrod is able to advance. They're already able to get more bodies onto the point. They're going for that yellow Roadhog hook, and right now we're jumping on. We're still on with Shu right now, doing as much as they can, but we look in the background. Dids will soon have his EMP, which is going to be such a high impact. He's still not able to heal. Cruz is looking for the help back, not able to do it. Jumps onto the point, trying to convert onto Dodo, but Dodo with that nano boost is swinging his hammer, trying to bat everyone away from the cart. Cruz does take down Shu, and slowly but surely the TBA squad is able to do a lot more of these kills. The side of Pale Goldenrod doesn't really have enough reactive ultimates to realistically use, so they have been able to stop out the fight. But if I'm the side of Pale Goldenrod, I'm actually kind of happy right now, right? You invest so much, and now you have this opportunity to reset.
Ununited did such a good job there, actually just waiting to group up, finally getting the kills that they were looking for. Sherrick did a great job as Winston actually staying above on the high ground, zapping down at them. That's actually a nice trick that you can do as Winston on a lot of different maps. People don't realize he can zap down from a pretty good height and just stay hidden the entire time. But as the Pale Goldenrod forces actually come back in here, it was Roadhog really that allowed them to get that last push going with his whole hog ult at a perfect timing. We'll see what they can do this time as he misses his hook and falls. I think the ex-United squad already off to a good start, should be able to hang on here. Dragonblade coming out here as well, should just reinforce that. Cruz just getting a ton of damage in there, and yeah, 3 kills go his way. That's an easy hold there again for the ex-United squad.
All right, well, with 1 minute 36 seconds down on the clock, looks at the side of Pale Goldenrod. Doesn't have a lot of room in order to push to get to that next checkpoint. They do have a lot of ults. That EMP is now active on Did, so they are going to be able to potentially eliminate ult usage if they want, but it's coming at a great time because Voltaja, Sharkey, and Unfixed all have their ultimates ready and available, and this is all going to be about timing. They dived onto the backline. The side of Ununited is going there to drop the beat, has been used, so they are able to stay out this fight on the side of Pale Goldenrod, and no one's looking at the point right now. They actually managed to advance it right behind everyone, not even caring about it. And meanwhile, on this side, Unfixed, that's not able to do damage, is still holding on to the tactical visor. Will taunt for a little more, just, you know, hey, just say, hey, kill me now, you know, just let me go. And good push on the side of Pale Goldenrod, although that seemed to be more of a lapse of judgment from the side of Reunited, completely forgetting about the cart.
I wonder if Unfixed thought that he could touch it in time. He actually was there like right at the last moment. Also, Rubicon was nearby with the Zen ult, so I think they just barely missed the timing to actually keep the cart from rolling in. But as we see it now, Pale Goldenrod has moved the cart a pretty considerable distance. Now you've got Genji and Winston just diving on to the Ana and Lucio, both falling very quickly. Reaper down now as well, and that's basically a full reset already for the ex-Reunited squad. 1 minute 50 seconds to get as much mileage as they can in this last stretch. They do have a couple of ultimates to work with here. Drodo could hit a massive Earth Shatter and just turn this game on its head, or ex-Reunited could hold on. Winston ult giving them 1000 HP. Cruz's Dragon Blade has been effective so far as well, so we'll just have to see how it shakes out.
Yeah, and right now it looks like the side of Pale Goldenrod able to do enough damage to advance despite Voltage in the background messing around with Drev. But meanwhile, the rest of the team is actually falling apart, and this is just a little bit divided from the side of Pale Goldenrod. They're trying to turn their attention too much to deal with the pesky Tracer in the background to really notice that the rest of the team is kind of falling apart. So what used to be, I guess, almost like 2 minutes 30 seconds left of the clock is now degraded down to only 1 minute left. They don't have a lot of immediate ultimates. Drev will be getting, I think, his Graviton Surge for this next fight, and Sebastian still has that Nano Boost, so that'll be what to take a look at. But Cruz still sitting on that Dragon Blade. He might be the big presence they want in the beginning of this fight.
Ooh, as the fight begins, Soodle finds a hook on Cruz immediately. Rubicon falls shortly after, so defense already falling a little bit. Unfixed pops his attack visor really late in the fight and gets smacked down by Drodo's hammer, so things not looking good for the defense at all. Dref gets a couple of kills there as well. Vayutaja still standing, trying to contest the cart, but with only 150 HP. Even Vayutaja can't last that long. Shua gets the killing blow there, and it's basically a full reset. They're going to get this limousine into the parking spot, basically. It's just going to be a battle at the very end with all these ultimates flying. Morte and Rubicon have some defensive ults, but they'll get the kills here.
Yeah, and Cruz still with that Dragon Blade on the clock, running right into the Graviton Surge. He actually gets trapped in the Graviton Surge, not able to use it. Does manage to get, I think, a slash down on Sebastian to help him out. But right now, Cruz not really an impactful ultimate at all at this point. Trying to do as much to knock everyone away, but that whole hog is doing more than enough to bat everyone over for the point. Voltage with a 2-man Pulse Bomb takes down Soodle and Shu, but gets traded almost immediately. And Pale Goldenrod doing as much as they can, but what they can do might not be enough right now, as it looks like the side of Drev, Dids, and Sebastian are the only people left on the point. Morte staying alive, you know, hiding behind, making sure it's hard to spot, but they have been able to conserve it. Pale Goldenrod is waiting for the rest of the team to join up, and right now with overtime, they just need to stall it out just a little more. Soodle pulls Voltage, who's been sleeping this entire map, out of the way, and this is just going to get worse and worse for them. Soodle in the background, trying to do as much as he can, notices exactly where he needs to hook. See Sharkey pulls Morte, and they push it all the way to the end. Oh, in overtime, Sharkey not able to get back on the point with a Primal Rage. Pale Goldenrod saying, Reunited, not anymore. Able to push it all the way through. That's huge for them.
Wow, that very last fight huge props to Morte for stalling as long as he did as just Lucio. Like 2v1, Tracer and Zarya just could not kill him until D.Va actually showed up and kept the fight going even longer. But in the end, it was a boop and a Roadhog hook that kept them just off the cart, even though there were several members alive on the defense. They were just not close enough to the cart to contest. And Pale Goldenrod, they finished Hollywood. I didn't actually think they would get it after the way that the second stretch was going. They were just getting stopped repeatedly around the dumpster. I think that it can be very tough to break into that spot because your entry methods are just not too great. You can really prevent getting flanked when your whole backside is just your spawn. So good job to them to get that second stretch and then to finally get it home in overtime. Definitely not a bad thing, as now Reunited will have to finish the map, not just take A like we saw earlier today. So Pale Goldenrod stacking up a little bit better than perhaps we thought coming in.
Yeah, so this is going to be really interesting to see what look they're necessarily going to use on defense. We did see success with the Grand Denya in the last match, using the Symmetra and being able to make it stay alive. Shu has now shown us that he will be running the Symmetra, and it looks like a very aggressive composition. Did's right now not running a hit scan character, but instead will be running the Pharah, and I think this might be just to deal with, you know, the pesky Tracers and everyone that's going to be rotating around, especially they know they're going to be running a dive comp. And man, ex-REUNITED is not joking around right now. They're running a solid dive comp. Voltaja, Cruz, Unfixed on the Tracer, Genji, and of course the Soldier respectively. This is going to be a very aggressive composition with Sharake playing the last and only tank. Winston is going to jump in, and we're going to right now tune in as they go on to contest the first point. Voltaja blinking in, checking the corners for any turrets. They're trying to deny any early charge that Symmetra can possibly have. Meanwhile, on the point, however, Symmetra just throwing out her shields, trying to prevent as much damage as they can and as possible. They're trying to make sure to restack on those turrets as well.
Yeah, we've seen Symmetra work out precisely one time so far today, and we'll see if Shu can replicate that. But last time, Torbjorn was involved as well. We'll just have to see if Dids and company can do the damage necessary to keep Genji and Pharah, for example, away from the shield generator or teleporter whenever it is finally placed. But Shu is only at 28%, like 30-40 seconds into this game. That's not a hot start at all. But the fact is, they haven't lost anybody on defense yet. So with the offense finally coming in here, Genji and Winston actually get separated on their dive. They don't actually get the coordination they're looking for. Sherrick's kind of going in alone, but Sebastian and Sherrick do both fall. This could favor the defense, but the fact that Dids and Soodle follow suit, that's not great. ex-REUNITED just rolling in now.
Yeah, and this is good job for the side of Reunited pushing their advantage, and really this all came down to kind of Unfixed versus Dids in the air. Depending on which Pharah was able to take over the dominance, it made it so much easier to pick out the targets on the ground. And yeah, I mean, Unfixed is definitely going to probably win the Pharah fight in most cases whatsoever, but Dids did put up a relatively good fight. And now with this second point, Streets face, 5 minutes left on the clock. So right now the side of Pale Goldenrod doesn't actually have a chance to actually make it onto the high ground, so they will be defending from the Streets level, meaning that honestly Reunited might have a great flank opportunity for them.
Pale Goldenrod setting up in the streets. They've got Reinhardt and Zarya full health, just right on the cart, not allowing them any real ways to get in around them. Watching both of those doorways there, Valuetaja goes down very quickly, but he does get Ana in the trade, so defense may be a little out of sorts without that extra healer. Drodo's going to fall very quickly, as is Soodle. Actually, Helix rockets himself to get the killing blow, and offense is going to take that and run with it. Cruz just pops Dragon Blade and kills off basically everything else. Cart is going to continue to roll through now, and offense need to jump in. Yeah, they're actually taking the high ground here. I think Genji and Winston would be good to stay up front and just watch as a Soldier specifically. They could just dive him, but here comes the rest of Pale Goldenrod on the defense. Should be able to post up just at the corner there.
Yeah, and this is where it starts getting dangerous. They don't have a lot of ultimates to deal with the potential presence from both Voltaja, and Rubicon has a great way to deal with it. Sebastian almost goes down, but this does take down Unfixed. I mean, that's going to be one huge DPS dealer out of the way. Sebastian will get chased down by Voltaja. Voltaja not really worried about his health right now, down to 20 HP only, trying to chase down Soto if he can, but Drep, good job on Drep doing as much as he can in that instance. And Drep now has to trace down and chase down everyone in the backline. Charlotte, once the shield goes down, might not be in a good situation. Cruz trying to dive into the background, but he's getting slowly traced down. Cruz will fall, meaning that Pale Goldenrod should have the ability to close out this initial defense for them. And now the Graviton Surge still being available. This is actually as good as it will get for the side of Pale Goldenrod, delaying this initial push.
Yeah, 3.5 minutes is still a lot of time here for ex-REUNITED. They still have a couple of ultimates available to use. Sound Barrier, of course, can be a great one for negating, for example, the pulse bomb combo that's about to hit them. And as Earthshatter comes out, defense kind of gets really deep. Actually, Trodo goes way too far, ends up 3v1, falls very easily. Shu now getting hunted down as well. I don't see the defense holding at all for the rest of this fight. Even though Zenyatta's ult was used, they don't have enough damage to actually win the fight here.
Yeah, and now it's all about the ultimates that the side of TBA or Unreunited had been potentially holding, and now they're able to advance the cart. Luckily for side of Pale Goldenrod, they were able to burn off a decent amount of time, and they will be coming back with a lot of ultimates. So this is going to be about whether or not they can hold it off or not, and see how well that's going to take them. Meanwhile, Soto in the background trying to get a good flank, does get that tactical visor on there, and that escapes the pulse bomb, so doesn't actually get taken down. The pulse bomb did 6 down 3, and now they're just hunting down Cruz, who's in the corner. Can't really do much at all. Reflect is going to go down. Soto staying alive still with 30 HP. He needs to stay alive. Cruz luckily is able to be taken down, and Pale Goldenrod once again able to fend off. Now down to only 2 minutes on the clock. The side of Reunited burned so many ultimates for that.
They've got to be thrilled that the Big Bang combo got the value that it did, and they baited out Morte's sound barrier. So they got basically double value for that combo, got the kills and the ultimate out of them. Now Unfixed taking the high ground here with Sherrick, trying to pick the softer targets in the back. Sebastian always taking fire during these fights very quickly, so they need to do a good job to protect him. Cruz comes in with the Dragon Blade out, kills Sebastian immediately. Drodo and Dreft down as well means ex-REUNITED should easily roll in to this last point. No more ults needed. They don't have any left to commit anyway, but that is going to immediately put Pale Goldenrod back onto their spawn. They're actually split as well, 4 in the front and 2 in the back, so they should be able to bust their way out of here. Dreft falls, Soodle falls. Man, they actually got gutted by that split spawn.
Yeah, and that's honestly a relatively unlucky right now, as the side of Reunited just able to push through so decisively. They basically cleared out this entire first half of the studio phase just because the side of Pale Goldenrod won't be able to respond like as a team until they get up to the main straightaway. Now, of course, Cruz with that Dragon Blade was the big impact player, but you cannot forget right now how dangerous the other members on this team are. We have not seen Voltage and Unfixed for a little bit, but they are extremely strong right now. That Tactical Visor will go down, coupled with the Earthshot, do as much as he can. Yes, the Transcendence is going to heal up the side of ex-REUNITED, allowing that Unfixed gets 2 straight kills. Now going to search one for one more. Shoot goes down as well, and great aim on his side. And meanwhile, Diz is just trying to do his best to stay alive. But Diz, you ain't no Kenzie. You can't stay alive against ex-REUNITED. Reunited just TBA pushing out so hard right now. Unfixed popping his ultimate, just able to clip up so many of the squishy targets. But right now, Pale Goldenrod has regrouped together. No ultimate, so they're not in a super great situation. But StriveWire does have Primal Rage enough to knock everyone back and disrupt the fight if he can get into the middle. Worst case scenario, he gets in instead for ultimate, but he's jumping on Sebastian in the background, who has used his nano boost on Drodo to just generate some more damage on their side. He's just swinging around trying to keep everyone alive, but Primal Rage is making it so hard for him to stay on top of one target. And luckily, the rest of his fights, Soto and Diz are able to take out fights. Soto with a tactical visor drops 4 people. I mean, that Pale Goldenrod will be able to fight another day. So, yeah, Drodo with that nano boost actually was able to draw enough time for his rest of his DPS to come through.
Yeah, they've actually bought themselves enough time that they can actually potentially win this map just on the back of a really good defense here. And they had 3 ultimates to do it with against none out of ex-REUNITED. So this could be the last fight here. If they get a pick early, the match is essentially over, but we'll see how long they manage to drag this out, waiting for any ultimates to really start flying here. Drodo charges in, catches a Discord Orb. That's kind of interesting. Pulse Bomb gets nothing for it. Sound Barrier already used on the side of the defense, but Sherrick is the first one down. Morte follows, and Unfixed getting extremely low, but still held up somehow, is gonna earn his Tac Visor. Not able to use it though. Drodo and Soodle just killing everything and now flooding over the cart itself. Zenyatta's not going to last long, and suddenly it's down to 1 and done here for ex-REUNITED. They have to win this next fight, or they're going to lose the first map to Pale Goldenrod, a team I've never even seen play before.
Yeah, and right now Drodo is saying, well, I got the Earthshatter, and that's going to be the big one right now. They do not have a Reinhardt shield on the side of ex-REUNITED. I mean, they have no way to cleanse this. They need to make sure none of their DPS leaders are being caught, and Drodo is playing extremely safe. He's watching for the big flanks. He's trying to make sure that they don't get in through the side, and they are establishing a big presence through the right side chokehold. He gets a nano boost, and yes, the Transcendence does come in, but ultimately what comes next. Unfixed clips Soto, and Unfixed is taking on Drift in the background, but Drodo is doing so much more, as much as he possibly can. Now looking for Cruz, trying to knock Cruz out of the competition. Cruz is down, and that shield comes up just in time. Voltage recalls, trying to find out where he is. He's swinging back and forth, but this is not good on the side of ex-REUNITED. Voltage cannot hold out by himself. Does go down. Reunited are luckily able to get back onto the cart. Overtime is still being contested, but yes, right now they're able to regroup, and Drodo did as much as he could, but unfortunately it looks like that might not be enough. Soto doing as much as he can, running away in the back and trying to grab a health pack and try to sustain this fight as much as they can, and this is just ridiculous. This is just a back and forth brawl. Dids taking down so many bigger threats, does take down Cruz. There's no Cruz for the rest of this fight. Morte trying to sustain on the rest of this fight. Overtime takes over. TBA not able to push it to the end. Pale Goldenrod with the biggest upset of this tournament so far, taking one game off of ex-Reunited on Hollywood.
Man, really good stuff there from Pale Goldenrod. The ults at the end were great. I don't know how ex-Reunited couldn't capitalize on that until Drodo actually just went crazy. He hit his Earth Shatter, caught one kill with a Fire Strike and one pin as well. So Drodo, this has to be it, the very last play on defense where he scooped multiple kills. Yeah, 10 seconds left. Here's the Earth Shatter. Catches Morte there on Lucio with the Fire Strike, Sherrick with the pin, and then just smacks down basically everything on the cart. Valuetaja did a great job staying alive there to allow his team another chance at the cart, but after he went down, there's really no chance. They did a good job, Pale Goldenrod, just picking targets to connect on and take out immediately. So game one going very surprising to Pale Goldenrod. ex-Reunited needs to step it up.
All right. And man, this is gotta be a little disappointing if you're on the side of TBA. You wanted this first game to be a good coming out party. Pale Goldenrod able to push them to their limits. Hollywood is in the books right now, going to Pale Goldenrod, giving them that advantage. Remember, one more game. This is a best of 3, so one more game victory, and then they'll be moving on to the winners finals. Let's see what ex-Reunited brings them back to. I mean, you looked at the composition. They obviously are a very strong team. Where do you think they need to bring them back to next?
What were the options again? Numbani and Gibraltar?
I
think
so.
Gibraltar probably would be better for ex-Reunited, but I noticed the lobby team names are wrong. They got swapped at some point, but that's up to the players. It doesn't really matter that much. But anyway, as Pale Goldenrod take the surprising first win, they should be choosing a map.
Yeah.
Morte has lobby control. Okay, so it is going to be Numbani, the other hybrid map, not Gibraltar. Yeah, I think, ex-Reunited, they should have done quite well on Hollywood and, ended up losing their, not able even to complete the map is kind of surprising. So normally I would give the edge to them here on Numbani, but after what we saw already, I got to say Pale Goldenrod held up well to it.
Yeah, and this, honestly, this is the kind of part where you're going to have to be very cautious about it, right? Because in a way, this was effectively probably the most even map out of the map pool currently, right? So you have to be worried if you're dropping this first map down for them. And now they're going back to Numbani on this end. And we definitely have a lot of great looks. I will say that both teams have shown us a lot of great looks. Pseudo being so strong, and Did's actually going blow to blow with almost everyone on the map. Definitely there's no clear best player on the server for now, but Cruz back on that Genji. Cruz wants to prove that, hey, he can also play Genji, by the way, guys. And I mean, what do you think they need to bring out? Do you feel like the composition they were running on Hollywood was the correct composition, or what do you feel it kind of really fell apart for them at that point?
Honestly, I don't know. Like the ult advantages that they had just didn't pay off quite right. They, just kind of missed their dice rolls, I think, a few too many times, and Pale Goldenrod didn't. They actually played up to a pretty good standard there. So on defense this time, we're going to be seeing that defensive Winston, but they are including a Reinhardt this time. We saw a little bit different composition in the earlier groups that used a Winston and no Reinhardt, but this time we're running 3 tanks on D with Soldier, and on offense, it looks to be more the same Valuetaja on Tracer, Cruz on the Genji. So, I mean, I guess they feel that the composition wasn't the problem. They're just going to play it better here on Numbani than they did on Hollywood.
Yeah, and we are not seeing any differences in the defense. It's a pretty standard defensive composition. Dreft on the Winston is a little iffy, but I guess it's very good for dealing with a lot of your flankers. You can have, especially if everyone's diving in at once, you can make sure your Tesla cannon is tagging so many of them as well. So it's a good way to kind of deal with, with something like a Genji, like a Tracer. But right now, that dive composition is coming back, so this is going to be very interesting. Let's jump on with Valuetaja. on the Tracer, and they're all going to just be racing straight to the point. They got to figure out whether or not they want to go through the main chokehold or if they want to go through high ground. And it looks like they're not good. They're going to ignore the high ground for now. They're going to try to get into the background and try to make sure that the side uphill Goldenrod has to turn their heads, has to turn their positions in order to get anything done here.
Immediate hook and kill onto Unfixed means this push is essentially dead in the water. Roadhog did a great job there. Soodle on that Pale Goldenrod, starting off the defense hot. 30 seconds already burned off, and it's going to take a little while for Soldier to return to battle. I think normally, now that they've scoped out where everyone is, they're going to be trying to find that Ana or the Soldier, but Winston will be kind of working his way between the two of them to provide some cover and a bubble to keep them alive a little bit longer. There they go. Winston and Genji actually pick separate targets there, so Winston has to choose. Dids is going to get focused down very low and finished off there by Valuetaja. Sebastian is going to be next up, but Morte and Rubicon both fell on the side of the offense, so this push still could go either way.
Yeah, and Pseudo is being a man right now, taking down Sharik, as well as Cruz falling down in the battle as well. So Valuetaja trying his best to stay alive as Tracer, but his only thing he can really do is stall out, wait for the rest of his team. Meanwhile, on their side, Unfixed is coming up onto the flank, and I think that they are going to be grouping over there. Rubicon on the on the Zenyatta as well. They will be backing up, regrouping with each other to hopefully, find a good way, a good avenue to really proceed. Not a lot of ultimates online yet. Valuetaja does have his pulse bomb, which will be the big one if he can stick it onto a hard threat like Drodo on the Rhino, who's just been a big thing. But Dids takes down Shuriken, but Cruz does manage to take down Dids in return. And meanwhile, let's jump on, find out where Cruz is right now with the Dragon Blade. Dragon Blade will wear out, unfortunately not able to do much. Does get slipped, and now down to Wander's health, down to 65 health, and he's going to stay alive in the meantime, but Unfixed in the background trying to do as much as he can, trying to take down Soto, who's just been able to punish them off the point. And this is the hard part about Reunited. They're not even on the point anymore. They're trying to fight behind the point, and they're not getting the ticks.
Yeah, I can't believe that the defense here is just sitting firmly on the point. Offense have been in their face for so long and just cannot uproot them. As people are kind of just streaming back in from both sides, it's still, anyone's fight. Soundbarrier comes out for the side of the defense, should allow them to hang on pretty well here. Valuetaja can't do much on his own. Even if he does stay alive, he doesn't have the damage to get through these multiple tanks, and defense do end up hanging on. There's a Lucio out in no man's land here. Morte trying to stay alive in the back lines of the defense, but looks like he should be able to escape. No, Roadhog hook puts an end to that, and that's another 15 seconds they need to wait for Lucio.
Yeah, and this isn't good. Valuetaja, meanwhile, in the background, trying to, see if he can catch a flank, catch anyone off guard right now, but they are waiting for the respawn to come up. Cruz will have Dragon Blade soon enough, and this is going to be a lot about the timings of the ultimates. Now, they don't have a lot of offensive ultimates on the side of Pale Goldenrod. They do have the Nano Boost, and they do have Drodo, who might grab Earthshatter, and if Earthshatter comes up just as Cruz uses his Dragon Blade, this could be good, but right now, in the background, Valuetaja misses that pulse bomb, doesn't really catch anyone at all. Pseudo takes Cruz out of the air, so that nano boosted, that Genji ult is out of the equation almost entirely. Valuetaja trying to dodge around, trying to do as much as he can, but it doesn't look like he's able to function at all. Sharik trying to boop everyone up, but everyone's just staying alive. Sebastian still with that nano boost, still staying alive somehow, and he's running through, creating so many issues, and they're just able to clean this up. Pale Goldenrod might be able to full hold.
Pale Goldenrod again, surprising, not allowing Reunited to take this at all. They haven't even secured a single tick, and it's been multiple fights, lots of ults used already. Cruz does have Dragon Blade available this time. Morte with the sound barrier gives them another opportunity, but Drodo could hit one Earthshatter and that Dream could be dead, so we'll have to see. Dids also could just get up to Tac Visor right now. Nano boost on him would put an end to things. Morte using the sound barrier to engage is kind of a scary prospect here. We don't even know what defensive ults are available. It does bait out the Nano boost. Dragon Blade comes out as well, but it looks like Cruz is going to get shut down pretty hard. People just scattering away from him. Sound barrier comes out on the side of the defense when they still have 5 people alive. If they can get the kill on Sharik, I think the drive is dead here.
Yeah, and right now Valuetaja is going to try staying alive and buy more time for Unfixed to do his magic, but there's not enough room there. You can only recall once, man, and overtime is ticking down, and this is unexpected. But Pale Goldenrod with the first point hold, a full hold on Numbani. This is, you gotta be frustrated. This ex-Reunited squad, I don't know where they're gonna go to next. They've been trying this dive composition and it's just not panning out.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with them today. They're just not getting it together when it's time to do battle. I think our overlay might actually be backwards as well.
Yes.
As chat, as always so lovely to point out for us. And ex-Reunited, yeah, I don't know what they can do on defense. Like, they're supposed to be out killing Pale Goldenrod. That's kind of their thing, is they've got a bunch of fraggers that they can play 3 DPS and just, be so oppressive and kill you so fast that it's impossible to hold. But Soodle getting a hook kill here, Drodo getting Earthshatter there, everything just piled up in favor of Pale Goldenrod again. They couldn't get the ult coordination going on ex-REUNITED to get all the kills they needed at the same time. There was a fight where they dove onto Soldier and Ana and got both kills, but they lost both healers in the process. So every fight, they just could not get the scale to tip their way. Even that super long extended fight ended up just being one sound barrier and done once the defense got back to the point. So I don't know if I can expect them to full hold here. It's Numbani A. You lose an Ana very quickly and you can lose the fight just like that.
Yeah, and this team composition on the defense is a little worrying as well. I mean, I'm not trying. I'm gonna put on like a tinfoil hat right now. I think that Unreunited is just hiding their strats. I think they're just trying to play with this one composition, see how far it can take them. But I mean, at the same time, like luckily they even if they lose this game, they still have an opportunity to come up through the consolation bracket. So I guess it's not that big of a deal. But at the same time, this composition isn't really working, and I'm not sure if that's a coordination thing or that's a communication thing, but they need to find out the answers how to resolve this composition as soon as possible. And we're gonna jump on right now with Unfixed, who has been, you know, a very strong soldier, but just hasn't been finding the huge avenues that he needs to really prosecute this. But meanwhile, Pale Goldenrod will be coming up the upper right side. They are taking high ground, which is an advantage that the side of ex-REUNITED really didn't have the last round.
Yeah, I think people expect dives. So, oh my god, 2 kills already? What? So before I can even spit the sentence out, this fight is heavily favored on the side of Pale Goldenrod.
No way!
Oh my god.
Soto just throws out the YOLO hook, and now that's... I'm speechless. Soto has been on fire. He's hit every hook he's thrown out, and Voltage is just trying to run right now. Voltage, there's no answer for him. He's dodging around. Luckily, he's not dying, so that's good. He's bought enough time for the rest of his team to come through. However, the only problem right now is that now he's burned his pulse bomb. Doesn't have that avenue for anything. Sharik does get pulled, but that sleep dart does come in for good news, meaning they are able to hold the defense relatively well. 2 ticks on the clock. Shu is able to put us to the advantage, and right now TBA is getting pushed in the corner. Rubicon and Morte are the only supports left on the point. They're the only people that can contest, and they're not nearly enough. Cruz will get back onto the point, but now that tactical visor is pointed at everyone, trying to drill everyone down. Cruz drops down and Unfixed trying to dodge through. Can't even contest the point right now, but Voltage is able to do a lot as he can and did. Unfortunately, will go down, so that push will stall initially, but 2 ticks with 2:33 remaining on the clock. I'm happy with that. I'm on the side of Pale Goldenrod.
Man, I can't believe they didn't win the game right there. Just props to Sharik and Valutage for staying alive so long to allow their teammates to get back into the fight. Once Genji got back, Cruz was able to help with the cleanup. They're just going to run right in and try and do the same thing here. Hog actually taking some of the opening fire for the risk of that hook, but can't find what he's looking for. Here comes the Dragon Blade from Cruz, but he gets hit with that biotic grenade and taken out. Drodo, Shu, and Sebastian all down means this chance, you know, there's really not much chance of this push actually working out, even though they did get a few kills, so they will try and make a decision here. It looks like they're going to back off with no supports available, but they could have, you know, continued to press there, and I think it still would have been a pretty even fight.
Yeah, so right now they do have 1 minute 48 seconds left on the clock. A lot of ultimates. Drodo has been laying those key Earth Shatters, and this is the one that's going to be bugging you if you're the side of ex-REUNITED. How do you deal with that Reinhardt Earth Shatter? There's not a lot of big ways to do it, and everyone's pushing into the back of that non-boost on that Winston is going to be huge, but Voltage does go down, and he's been a lot of their keeper. And, oh man, the Earth Shatter does catch out, I think, only once. That Sleep Dart, you know, is going to be relatively effective. Make sure that they're not able to do anything on that. Drep does have the Graviton Surge if need be, and Unfixed right now is trying to do as much damage with Tactical Visor, but he's shooting at a bunch of shields right now. He can't do anything at all at this instance, but right now on the fight is doing as much as they can. The Graviton Surge catches out Voltage, so that's an escapist who can no longer escape, and now they're pushing it in. Unfixed trying to get on the point, and Sharik with that Primal Rage trying to do as much as he can, but he's going to get pulled through. There's no way he can sustain. No support left on the point, gets pushed off of it, and man, that's it. Pale Goldenrod takes the match over to be announced. 2-0. Very solid first point effort. Full hold on Numbani, followed by a good first point push, and you just have to be scratching your head. I mean, if TBA wanted to, you know, like give them an easy way into the winner's final or make this comeback story happen, you could have just told us from the start. But what do you think? Or can you even pull anything from this game? Like ex-REUNITED just seemed like they were playing in a different server.
I think Pale Goldenrod actually just very much surprised me with how well they played as a team that I didn't really know anything about going into this. They just did phenomenally well, I think. You know, they didn't make too many mistakes. Hollywood defense, maybe Streets phase was a little sloppy, but other than that, I mean, they played pretty phenomenal Overwatch, and Dids getting 3 gold medals there, proving that he's a huge asset for that team, and Pale Goldenrod bringing it home. I know that's an extremely surprising result, but they did so good kind of throughout. I can't really pick out what ex-REUNITED could have done better. I think they stuck to their strengths, which is something that has to be admired, rather than just sticking with 3 or 4 tanks. Actually just going the route of trying to out frag them didn't work out for them on the hybrid maps. Maybe if we had been in a control situations might be different, but as it is, Pale Goldenrod definitely impressed with their defense specifically. I think it's kind of their strong suit. Drodo played a really strong Reinhardt. Dids played a really strong Soldier kind of throughout. Soodle hitting the hooks when necessary. I saw him get a number of kills, even on that Hollywood defense there at the very end. He got a hook kill on Anna that kind of shut them out. So really good stuff across the board. Can't find much weakness on the side of Pale Goldenrod, and suddenly they are contenders to get out of the group.
Yeah, and that's huge for them, and that's got to be something that you, in the back of my head, I'm thinking ex-REUNITED or TBA or whatever team that they really want to go by. I think they weren't showing what they could have done, but I mean, who is the Reinhardt player on that team? And that's going to be the question I think a lot of people are going to be asking about it, right? Because Sharik technically could have played the Reinhardt at any point in that composition, but he just kind of never rotated off the Winston. And with Drodo honestly being such a high impact player with a lot of great Earth Shatters, you have no way to cleanse it. You don't even have like a Zarya to cleanse it on one person, or even yourself and another person. So that Earth Shatter becomes infinitely more effective. They're just able to do it at a point where it was almost like the moment they had Earth Shatter, they were able to take down so many big threats. And that last Earth Shatter that we did see wasn't even that big of an impact. All it did was take down Sharik and, didn't really catch anyone else. But they've been able to DM extremely well and win these fights. And Unfixed, he's definitely such a solid soldier, but it almost felt like he was a little too afraid to get too close. And while, his tactical values were very strong on Hollywood and was a big reason why they were able to push so far, he just kind of was a little absent on Numbani. I don't know if that's just me saying it, but he just didn't seem to show up. I think he's still working his way back into the team, still trying to figure out what his composition is. And at the same time, I mean, you don't have another tank to protect him. So I wouldn't say it made sense that he was playing a little safe, but you have to think about the composition that they are running, and maybe this isn't their most serious composition that they've run.
I think, honestly, like ex-REUNITED, their healers got picked super fast almost every time. So I think Unfixed being able to shine really is because he just didn't have, the positioning that he needed for Soldier with dead healers all the time. I think Rubicon on Zen got picked quite quickly basically every time. So I think it's just, Pale Goldenrod, like you said, out-fragging, DMing quite well on Numbani specifically. There were a few times where Pale Goldenrod just could not finish off Valutaja or Cruz, so their survivability definitely was there. I think it is just trying to find the kills. They weren't getting enough value off of each ultimate, perhaps, or maybe they just weren't getting enough value when they didn't have their ultimate. Sometimes you still just have to click the heads properly to have enough pressure to win the game. So who knows, man? We all saw it. Pale Goldenrod outplayed them on Numbani for sure. Hollywood was a very close one, but still managed to pull that one out as well. And to give a bit of a bracket update now, there's really only been a couple of games reported since the beginning of our series here. Pale Goldenrod taking that surprising 2-0 over ex-REUNITED, but Alternate Attacks is up a 1-0 on Elysium, and other than that, we don't really have any results for you guys, so I'm not sure where we're headed next.
Yeah, but we'll probably be sticking with this group. We might even travel down to the lower side brackets to see if we can follow the Reunited squad and see if this is, if they're able to fight back from the losers bracket. For those of us who are just joining us, are not familiar with the tournament format, this is a GSL style group stage, meaning that each group stage will have a winner and loser bracket. So it's a double elimination format. If you win twice, you will proceed to the playoffs. So basically, Pale Goldenrod is now in the winners finals. The winner of winners finals will proceed to the playoffs, as well as the winner of the consolation final. Right now, the ex-REUNITED squad will have to beat whoever they meet in the losers elimination match, as well as the consolation in order to advance to the playoffs tomorrow. And the other teams on the other side are the Ozo Lions and Rocks, the ex-Rock squad as well. And both of these teams, if you've been keeping up with tier 2 kind of not really tier 2, but in tier 2, tier 1 kind of play, both of these teams are actually very competitive as well. So they could give, the Reunited squad like a huge run for their money as well in this lower bracket. So we'll definitely stay tuned for the results of those. Meanwhile, in Group in Group C, not many updates, but that is where Team Dignitas and Sidonia will be playing as well. So you guys want to catch up with them, make sure to check out some of the other streams as well. You can type !streams in the Twitch chat to get the list of all the other language streams that we're running. But for now, we're going to throw it to lobby. We're going to throw it to kind of just a waiting screen for now, wait for our next game. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and yeah, we hope that you guys are enjoying the game so far. This is a lot of really great EU Overwatch that a lot of people have been clamoring for. So hopefully, guys, we'll be back as soon as possible, but make sure to stay tuned, guys.